How to instantly double your team and your own productivity. So let's dive into the subject of productivity and increasing performance, because this is something that I'm really passionate about. I'm always focused on performance. I really like performance. I like increasing my performance, and I always focus on getting the most out of myself and eventually also my team. Because if you can be really productive, you can do work in 4 hours that other people do in 8 hours, for example. And then you double the productivity and you get more done, of course. So there are a few things and a few tricks that you can use in order to really literally double, triple, quadruple the productivity of your team. And it's really insane. It's really insane if you use it properly. Maybe you're already using it a little bit, but maybe it's not maxed out and you can literally double or triple or quadruple the productivity of yourself or your team. We have the Parkinson's law and the observer effect. And to give you a bit of an explanation about the Parkinson's law. So this actually means that if you give someone 2 hours for a task, then the person will most of the time also complete it in these 2 hours. So the person will literally take these 2 hours to complete it, even if the person might be able to do it in 30 minutes. This is not always the case, but this is most of the time. So this means you can just give the same person the same task, but set a deadline of 30 minutes, and then the person will be much faster to eventually really complete it, with most of the time the same quality. And this is really insane if you know how to use it. So this is also one of the reasons why setting deadlines are actually important, because if you set a deadline, then you're actually saying to the person, you need to finish this task within this time. And if the deadline is really close, the time is of course not that much. And you can see, and probably you saw it for yourself as well, that like you're really rushing things, or actually, and probably you saw it for yourself as well, that you're working on a certain project and then the deadline comes closer and then everyone starts to work more productive. And all of a sudden you did 50% of the work in the last week while you had 4 weeks for the project. So all of a sudden they were more productive. And you can literally use this in your daily operations as well. To give you a bit of a story and how impactful it literally might be. A couple years ago we had video editors. And first of all, we let them create 2 videos in a day, in 8 hours. So we let them create 2 videos. And then I learned about all of these things a couple years back, about Parkinson's law, setting KPIs and all of these different things. And then I thought, okay, let's push these people to 3 videos a day. And that was possible. So they literally delivered the exact same result while having more output. So instead of 2, they had 3. Then we increased it to 4, then we increased it to 5, then we increased it to 6, and we literally increased it to 6 or 7, I think, while they literally delivered the exact same quality in the exact same time. So in 8 hours, instead of creating 2 videos, they created 6 or 7. So we literally quadrupled the productivity of that video editor team by just setting KPIs and increasing their deadlines per video and giving less time per video that they can create. This literally can apply to a lot of different areas of your business. This might also be with KPIs that you set with your team. So meaning, for example, if you now have a certain deadline that someone in your team needs to do, a KPI that needs to do like 20 outreaches per day, and the person has 2 hours for it. The person will probably take 2 hours. And so if you just say to them, okay, next week I really want to have 30, that's really the minimum, because this can really be done. They said 30, probably they will be able to achieve the 30. They said 40, probably they will be able to achieve the 40. And so this is how you eventually increase it until they really can't do it anymore, of course. Like, you also need to know about like how much one particular action takes. So for example, maybe you already have an understanding on how to do outreach and how to find someone, how to connect with them, how to send them a message. And probably if you just do it once, like you start the timer, you do the same action as fast as possible, then maybe you have like 1 outreach in 1 minute. And the same person does 20 outreaches in 2 hours. So then you know, like, okay, I can push this person and I can push the limits much further, because I know when I'm extremely productive in this in this task, I can do it in 1 minute. And this person takes 20 for 2 hours. So of course you can always be extremely productive, certain things happen, but like 40 is like possible, 60 is also possible in those 2 hours. But you set the deadline on 20 and then they will probably also not really increase it. It depends on what kind of team you have as well. If you have like real A players that work on commission, then it's of course like a completely different story because they are internally more motivated for it as well, if they get commission or whatever. But if it's just someone that's paid per hour, it's not always the case that they will increase it themselves. So you need to increase it and they can literally double or triple the volume that you're actually doing right now. So to sum it up, you need to just set higher KPIs and increase workloads for the same time. Then we also have something that's called the observer effect. And the observer effect actually means that when people are watching you, you will be more productive. So this can be indeed tracking KPIs. This can be every day you have a meeting with your team to track goals, track tasks. This can be you need to put your tasks inside a team chat so that everyone sees what you did. And there are a lot of different things. There are a lot of different ways to actually use the observer effect in your business. But the most important thing for if you have a team is literally track things and make sure everyone sees the things that are tracked and review it together with the team. So meaning if you have certain weekly commitments, weekly goals they need to achieve, you need to track it in a project management like CLICKUP. CLICKUP is like an insanely valuable software. We are using it for our company as well. And you can automate things, you can use it for tasks, you can set goals, you can track progress, and you can do a lot of different things. And if you use CLICKUP properly, then you can eventually see if someone is hitting their goals or not. Meaning that if you combine it with Parkinson's law, you can let someone in your team, for example, have weekly commitments. So let's say they have 10 tasks. Every task is 3.5 hours. This means 35 hours with a 40-hour work week. Then you can check the progress with like a sort of tracker with percentages of how many of these tasks they already completed. And then every day you can, for example, review this in the meeting, and then with the whole team you can see if everyone is moving forward, and then if the percentages increase, the completion percentage, and then you're sort of already accountable to doing these things. Because if you have a certain scoreboard, everyone has a completion rate, and the faster you are in achieving your tasks, the faster you completed all the tasks with 100%. But if you slack and the rest of the team already is on like 80%, you're at 30, then everyone sees it, and then everyone knows you are slacking. And that's something that is a certain way to really track the progress, for example. Another way to do it is like having the CLICKUP structure like that. There are other structures as well, but just that the team can see if someone is productive, and that you also set times for each tasks that are tight. So for example, if someone normally takes 2 hours, just let them do it in 1.5 hours, and probably they're still able to do it. And maybe you can even shorten it eventually. Maybe you can just do the tasks once with your extreme productivity, see how much it actually really takes, and then that should be like the maximum amount of time they should spend on something like that. And then eventually you track everything CLICKUP, and then you can, for example, have daily meetings to see the progress towards the weekly goals, weekly meetings to check the progress towards the monthly goals, monthly meetings to the quarterlies, quarterlies to the yearlies, and then we have like a complete scoreboard to see where everyone is with their monthly goals, daily goals, weekly goals, and all of these different things. And then every single person is literally accountable to the things they need to do, because the whole team sees it. The whole team sees if someone is slacking. Another way to do this is having a scoreboard for closers. If you have closers, for example, to understand how everyone is doing. Is everyone following up the customers? Is everyone following a show up rate flow to make sure that the show up rate is consistent, and other things. And also, of course, like what kind of percentage they are closing on, so that your closers stay competitive and that they can eventually try to achieve to be the best of the team. So with your personal productivity, how I will do it, I will literally plan out your whole day based on hours, like this task 1 hour, this task done before this time, this task done before this time. Because then if you have like your whole day, let's say from 8 till 10, then you put the tasks in there, and they have a certain deadline for every single task. And because you have that deadline for every single task, you will be more productive and you will feel accomplished as well if you did every single thing on the list. And that's how we'll eventually do it for you personally. Same goes with weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies for your team, and how they need to structure their day as well. So they need to have their daily planning, their weekly planning, and all of these things based on times and deadlines, and then they will be more productive. So that was it. That is how you double, triple, or quadruple your team's productivity. But it's good that you also focus on the right things, because you can be productive, but if you're not focusing on the right things, then like you're wasting time. So make sure to watch this video to check how you can really focus on the right things at the right time.